Hello and welcome to On the Shelf's highly anticipated review of Paw Patrol On a Roll. Look, I'm going to level with you. I've started and not completed so many videos for our viewers that as penance I have assigned myself the duty to tell you all about this game. Let me start off by saying that this game is exactly what it looks like. It's a kid-friendly Switch game that knows the audience. I will also get out of the way the rumor that the physical version of this game will be rare or hard to find later. Current indications do not suggest this, but this idea began as the game is currently exclusive to Walmart and the online sales seem to fluctuate back and forth, usually with the exception being that your local store may have a copy that you can reserve and pay for through the site. Take from that what you will, but as of the time of this recording, it's still readily available in the wild. Paw Patrol is your basic 2D platformer with collectibles, unlocks, and a pseudo-achievement system. There are 18 total stages spread across 8 areas of Adventure Bay. Each level uses a mixture of the pups, who each have 2 unique use abilities when being controlled by the player, and 1 unique Yelp for Help ability, which they would use when called upon by the player when they're not being used. You can expect to control 2 pups per stage, with 1 or 2 assisting as the Yelp for Helper. The stages are broken into 2 sections, 1 per pup, each section containing 100 dog treats to collect. Depending on the total found across both sections, you can earn a bronze, silver, gold, or platinum treat, the earning of which is solely to unlock badges, which is kind of like an achievement system. Spread throughout the stage are 5 golden paws, which upon completion of the level unlocks a still art photo, providing that you find all 5. There are badges tied to them as well, and the remainder of the badges are gathered for completing a number or all of the missions and using each pup, though that one is definitely a given since there is no character select at all. Speaking of characters, you have all the main cast, except only Ryder seems to be voice acted. As far as who you control, that is specifically the pups. You get to play as Marshall, Chase, Zuma, Sky, Rubble, or Rocky in the majority of the stages, and the final set adds Everest and Tracker. I won't go into great detail about their abilities or Yelps for Help because that's one of the main annoyances that I have with the game, as it will constantly tell you exactly what to use, when to use it, and why. It gets rather annoying since after the first couple of times you pretty much know, but then again, I'm not the target audience. There's also no failure in this game. With proper use of the abilities at the designated times, all you have to do is hold the right direction and jump or double jump when you get stuck. For the most part, you're going to succeed. Gathering the collectibles is not necessary for progression at all, and there is no death. Running into enemies in the air or underwater does nothing aside from slow you down for a few seconds, and there are no life meters to watch or cliffs to fall off of. If you do fall, there's always a ledge that'll catch you. Again, that is probably for the best, as small children witnessing their favorite animated super pups falling to their doom might not make for a grand experience. Once you get around halfway through the game, the levels will increase in difficulty in only that the collectibles, specifically the pup treats, will require some exploration and backtracking to find them all. But that is by no means hard, just a deviation from what you would have experienced so far. One level in particular proved to be rather difficult for collecting all the treats for me though. Around level 10, the second half of which you control Zuma and finish the level underwater, the final 2 treats are at the very end, and thanks to the angling and currents, I would miss one of the 2 every single time. After the 6th or 7th attempt, I was finally able to hit a fish to slow me down so that I could get into the proper spot to hit both. Trajectory was not something I expected to have to account for in a Paw Patrol game. Since there is no death or drawback, and collecting the extras is purely optional, the only question that begs asking before giving this game a good or bad review as far as a kid is concerned is how is the gameplay? It's surprisingly solid. The initial loading was a concern at first, but outside of some unskippable setup and reteaching of ability use, the game had no glaring flaws. I never experienced slowdown or stutter, the sound never dipped, and the game never locked up. Outside of the initial load up of the game's menu, every transition was within an acceptable time frame. As a final test, I let my 3-year-old, who happens to be a huge fan of the subject matter, play it. Aside from having a little trouble remembering to hold the directional stick and jumping at the same time, he caught on quick enough and enjoyed it thoroughly. He also enjoyed handing the controller to me and watching me play through it until he saw a particular pup that he wanted to play as. Zuma seemed to be his favorite. Is it worth the price? That's going to be up to you and your situation. The joy I get from my son sharing my passion for gaming is priceless. And having him run up to me in the days leading up to the delivery of the game asking me if the Paw Patrol game is here was well worth the cost of admission. Without his want to play, the game might have been worth a wait for me. It's a solid platformer that takes next to no skill, but that is 100% intended. If you're one of the people who worry about rarity or scarcity later on, I can't really speak to that, as I don't think it's going to be, but weirder games have caught us off guard before. As an adult, it's a mindless time sink. As a child, it's an adventure. As a game, it's solid, and well more reliable than some others on the platform. That's going to end my showcase of Paw Patrol On a Roll. You might have noticed a distinct lack of my co-host. Rest assured that once he recovers from the enjoyable yet unforgiving and tangled web that is Dead Cells, he'll be back for more of these quick little videos. If you enjoyed this or any of the other videos we do, be sure to leave a comment and hit that like button. If you hated it, thumbs us down and yell at us in the comments. Either way, be sure to subscribe for more great content, and most especially our podcast. Our most recent episode featured not one but 2 interviews with some great members of the gaming industry. NIS America and Screaming Villains both joined us and enlightened us to what is going on with their respective companies. Once again, thanks for watching. This has been Cyrix from On the Shelf, and we hope to see you next time.